PAIB was first broadcasted in 2008, starring me and Richard Green. We talked about things to do with paranormal activity, ghosts and aliens, UFOs, you name it. Everything you need to know, all the facts are going to be answered in this next series. In the previous series we did, which is now on DVD, explained basically mainly on the ghost side of things. We showed video clips of ghosts and we went to apparent haunted places such as Minster Level and the Nunnery and Roll Right Stones, so-called Oxfordshire haunted places. Now in this series, however, we'll be going into more depth on the alien side and of course much more deeper into paranormal activity. We probably didn't explain in full detail last series. Enjoy. Series we explained very detailedly about paranormal activity, and I was named the anomalist psychologist, and my colleague Richard Green was the paranormal investigator. Aaron was meant to be part of it, and even though he wasn't seeing the episodes, he did actually help us a bit back in year 7 when we were searching Henry Box School for apparent ghost sightings. Quite superstitious back then. Anyway though, in this series we're going to explain in full detail everything you need to know. So if you wanted to comment on things about ghosts and aliens in the comments below on this video, you could, because it's very interesting for us to get questions and answer them for you. It's really interesting for us and for you. Anyway though, over the years it's been nearly 2.5 years now, and we've still been studying on ghosts and aliens, and I've collected hundreds of books on paranormal activity and ghosts and stuff. No, but anyway, in these books there's previous sightings of so-called types of paranormal phenomenon. They show things such as normally sometimes if you can see it, I don't know if you can or not, old photographs of apparent apparitions in the background. Also, wait a minute, let's find a clear one. Ones like these and the right apparition. Also, ones like let's find a good one, shall we? This. Now, this sighting was very interesting. As you can clearly see, there's a couple of average gills, and there's let's see if you can get to it, a hand around the shoulder. Now, about that, no one else was in the hall at the time, and when they took the picture no one was in the hall at all, and it was just those 3 girls and the picture taker, and when the picture came out there was a hand gripping around her shoulder. Now at this time when they took the picture, the girl in the middle did actually experience pain, but she didn't know where it was coming from. Quite freaky. And of course the classical grey lady, which you probably saw hundreds of times in previous PAIB episodes. Anyway, soon one of my colleagues, Richard's going to do an episode on aliens and details on UFOs and probably Roswell, places like that. Anyway though, this episode is mainly talking about ghost sightings with me, an anomalistic psychologist, if you're an expert at PAIB and you know everything there is to know about PAIB. Now, Anomalistic psychology, as you know, is trying to find skepticism in paranormal events. Now, if you're just going to give away and say, this ghost exists, that's not good enough. We need to find solid evidence, and even if the evidence may look a bit convincing, you have to look for possible explanations of what it could possibly be. You can't jump into conclusions and be superstitious like we were back in year 7. You have to learn from what you saw and maybe thought maybe there's a possibility it can just be put down to natural explanations that happens in everyday life. If it is some sort of paranormal phenomenon, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a ghost or a demon. It could be just some sort of a strange phenomenon that us humans haven't found out about yet. So yeah. Video clips that I'm about to show you are from apparent people who have witnessed these sightings. The most ones you have to worry about normally is the so-called frightening ones that people find are demonic and evil, but sometimes people are a bit superstitious before they actually know what it actually is. People have had sightings in their house and just happen to see things at their job or out the corner of their eye. These are very interesting sightings, and if we were qualified enough we would love to go into these houses and actually talk to the people, but we're just too young, so we have to sit here and go to haunted places and talk about things then. Anyway though, here's some of the videos that have some sort of paranormal phenomenon, and there might be some pictures there also.
Let the bass kick.
As you've clearly seen from those videos, there's something strange about the video clips, and there might be something paranormal about them. Sometimes they have grey figures in the background. Now anyway, near the end of the series there's going to be a big episode where me and my colleague Richard are going to go out on to a so-called apparent haunted place and get back into the original mood of PAIB. Now, for this episode of course I want to talk about the detail of ghosts and how people interpret ghosts as scary things. Now most people find ghosts, well, if they're a bit stupid sometimes, scary things that come down onto Earth and just scare people to death. When sometimes they're people like maybe believers of ghosts and psychics believe that there are people trapped behind on Earth who can't literally get to heaven or a place like that. Now, paranormal phenomenon hasn't technically been scientifically backed up yet, so we can't basically say, ghosts don't exist or they do exist for definite. You need to look at the evidence clearly, like in anomalistic psychology, like French, or like me, and then try to find out evidence for yourself. Normally paranormal investigators will give you some evidence and then you will look at it and evaluate it and link it to natural causes that could be of the evidence. And then you can decide if there's something mysterious about that clip of footage or sound or audio or whatever, EVP recording, and then you can decide if it's something unusual and never actually been picked up before from natural causes. No, but anyway, yeah, so about back in year 7 we talked about the 4 main types of ghosts. Remember, haunting ghosts, recording ghosts, poltergeists, and of course Christ apparitions. Now, I don't really need to go through it again because you already know the procedures. You already know exactly what they mean and the definitions if you're a big fan of PAIB, which all of you are. Anyway, there's been hundreds of sightings around the world on ghosts, especially places like Britain and Japan are the apparently most haunted locations at the moment in the world. Japan's very superstitious over these things and find it very interesting to research on them, while us British, we're just posh, pompous people and we love to find out that we have something unusual about us. That's by our own country, and we're better than everyone else by knowing that we have this. Anyway though, back to being serious. Anomalistic psychology is really interesting, and you can easily link psychology to apparent sightings, such as you can link to hydrogotic hallucinations gave off by the so-called person. Now, hydrogotic hallucinations are quite complicated, but hopefully you understand. Hydrogotic hallucinations are hallucinations gave off by people who have had a traumatic past or traumatic events, and then they, without knowing it, can transmit images from their brain and give hallucinations of apparent figures or something. Sometimes people have saw things of their husbands or children or demon faces looking through windows, that sort of stuff, all gave off by stress and anxiety. That's hydrogotic hallucinations. Hopefully we'll explain it in much more detail in another episode. Anyway though, that's the basics of this episode, so thanks for watching, and here's a couple of video clips to play you out of this episode. Goodbye.